Nobody understands Paul, especially when he says things like this. He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. Colossians 1:15. Most people read that and either gloss over it or get it completely wrong. They hear firstborn and think, oh, Jesus must have been created. But that's not what Paul means at all. Let's unpack it. When Paul says Jesus is the image of the invisible God, he's not talking about a sketch or reflection. He means that Jesus perfectly reveals who God is. Jesus doesn't just represent God, he is God in visible form. The unseen becomes seen in Christ. Unlike Adam, who was made in God's image but failed to reflect it, Jesus is the true, flawless image. And through him, believers are being remade into that same image. Now here's where people really get confused. Paul calls Jesus the firstborn over all creation. And people say, see? Firstborn. That means Jesus had a beginning. But in the Bible, firstborn often means rank and authority, not birth order. David was the youngest son, but God called him firstborn because he was exalted above all kings. Israel was called God's firstborn, not because it was the first nation, but because it was chosen and set apart. Same with Jesus. Paul isn't saying Jesus was the first thing created. He's saying Jesus ranks above everything created. And in case we miss that point, Paul adds, by him all things were created. He is before all things. In him all things hold together. You don't get more clear than that. Jesus isn't part of creation. He's the creator. He existed before all things, and everything that exists came through him and stays together because of him. This wasn't just a theological flex. Paul was correcting false teachers who were treating Jesus like just another spiritual being, important, sure, but not divine. Paul says no, Jesus is supreme, eternal, preeminent, the visible image of the invisible God. Nobody understands Paul, but he couldn't be clearer. Jesus is not created. He created everything. If that cleared things up, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and tap that notification bell. And drop a comment. What's one thing you misunderstood about Jesus before reading Paul?